The national debt tops $19 trillion. Donald Trump is expected to address the topic later tonight in his 10 p.m. speech. Trump's second oldest son, Eric Trump, spoke last night about his father as a job creator.
It's time for a president who understands the art of a deal and appreciates the value of a dollar, our tax dollars. It's time for the president who has always been the one to sign the front of a check, not the back.
My next guest runs a big business, so signs a lot of front of checks as well. Billionaire Trump supporter, CEO of Colony Capital, Thomas Barrack, joining him, fellow polo player and Ralph Lauren model, Nacho Figueras. Welcome to you both. Glad to have you. So first and foremost, you met as hobbyists playing polo?
Well, actually, I've always been a great fan of Nacho's. In addition to being polo, he's a great businessman. So we met really in the business field, and then he let me saddle his horses and clean up some of the pony poop. All
right. Well, I'm sure people would be willing to pay good money for those pictures, Tom, but I know you are speaking at the RNC right before Ivanka Trump, so great positioning. Your speech is called Real Economic Change, Kill Crony Capitalism. What is the point that you most want to convey to the audience?
My point is really simple, that this election is about the man, not really the messenger. And that since I'm friends with Donald, I can talk about his personal attributes and what I see in the person. And most importantly, that I can take issue with him, and that this is not about negatives. I have nothing negative to say about Hillary, because the attributes that Donald brings and the change says it all on its own. So the election is about status quo versus disruption. And that's really the issue, is what kind of guy is this really underneath it? I've known him for 40 years. I watched him through it all, and he's much better than his billing. And we don't ever have to go to the negatives.
Okay, much better than his billing. That is a more than fair headline, especially from a personal perspective. Nacho, you're there, you're in the room. What do you make of the convention so far?
So I'm here as a friend of Tom. I'm keeping him company in this important task that he has to talk about Donald as a person. My position here is non-political, but what I've been reading through the last couple of weeks, and especially being here, there's a similarity with what has happened in Argentina, where we just got President Macri elected. He also did not come from a political DNA. He's a businessman who decided that it was important for someone like him to step up and go into this. I think the world is going into a big changing moment. We are done with the establishment, and the world is ready for a change, which I think is what got Donald Trump's ignited, right? Is this necessity of the people to see change. And we've seen it in Argentina. It worked. No one thought that Macri had a chance. He worked hard for it. He got it, and he's doing a great job so far.
I think that's a really, really important point to make, and one that's valuable from a friendly outsider's perspective. We also saw in the UK, of course, the UK voting to leave the European Union for similar concerns. I want to ask you, though, both as businessmen, because Donald Trump is reportedly rewriting his tax-cutting proposal, and it may reduce tax breaks for the rich. What are your thoughts, Tom? I'm starting with you, but Nacho, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. Tom?
Well, look, I can't comment on Donald's proposal on taxes because I haven't seen it. But look, generally, I think it's simple. That's not the problem. The problem is we've got to get Americans back to work. And the average guy can no longer exist with the status quo. And the rich have gotten richer, and the poor have gotten poorer, and we've evaporated the middle class. So, tax policy is a very technical, difficult issue to deal with, and so I don't even want to attempt to deal with it in a fog. But the bottom line is, the mechanism, it's not that any of these things are bad, or that any of the people are bad around the edges of these bureaucracies. It's that over 90 years of building all these institutions, the bureaucracies themselves have taken over the prison. So we're all prisoners within the tax code. I think if you ask any wealthy person, many of them that are here, and you said, look, either you contribute more or you're going to lose what you have, they will contribute more if they understood where the money was going. But most people sit and say, well, I don't understand where my federal tax dollars go. We have $19 trillion of debt. Bretton Woods has done away with the gold standard. There's nothing to support it. The only way out of debt is either you default, you grow out of it, or you restructure it. And in the meantime, I'm paying for wars I don't want to be in. My kids can't go to public school. I have to use emergency rooms for health care, and I have a Social Security system that's bankrupt. So it's not about the people, it's about the system. And to have a warrior come from the outside like Donald and say, I'm just going to chip away at it. So you can say I'm not equipped because I haven't been there on things like tax policy. He will find the best of class people who are not of the system but can infiltrate the system.
Well, to your point, maybe quote-unquote ill-equipped actually means ready, as you rightly point out, to come with a fresh perspective and take on the system and find inefficiencies, of which there are many. Tom Barrack, thank you so much for the time. Nacho Figueras, thank you so much. Glad to have you both with us.
Thank you.